internal. Now, as they sit 2-4, the discontent is leaking out like Acho. On the coaching staff, a player said, quote, totally unprepared. They don't teach. They don't have any sense of adjusting on the fly. Another player added, quote, they just aren't good at their job. So Acho, blame game continues. You have an issue with Cowboys players calling out the coaching staff.
Bro, I have absolutely no issue with the players calling out the coaching staff. I have an issue with the anonymity of it. That's me. I don't got an issue with it. Put an address on it, though, because when you don't put an address on things, they get lost in the mail. You put an address on it, player. I want two things. Number one, who's the player? Because that dictates the legitimacy of the statement. Is a player, one of these defensive players getting whooped? Because to me, there are about 4 players who can make the statement on the team that I would listen to.
You got names?
Trayvon Diggs, Zach Martin, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper. 5 players, excuse me. There are 5 players on the Cowboys team, and they're 1-2 deep, not counting special teams, who I would listen to that and be like, you know what? You're doing your job, so let me hear what you have to say about other people. The other thing is very simple for me. There's a double standard in the NFL. Coaches call out players all of the time. And we don't bat an eye. Man, we got to be better at this position. Got to be better in the kicking game. Got to be better at this. Got to be better at that. So when a player wants to call out a coach, I'm of the new school. I'm not of the old school. I'm of the new school where I'm like, everybody can get it. Worst case scenario, you put your name on it, you say who it is, they cut you, and you wind up on a better team. So I have no issue, Marcellus, with a player calling out the coach. I have an issue with the anonymity of it.
I hate this all around. I hate that the player didn't put his name on it. I hate that the player didn't say who he's talking about. There are a lot of coaches around. You know what I mean? You talking about the assistant linebacker coach? You talking about the assistant strength coach?
All of that.
Who are you talking about? Because I want to know that. I want this to have a direct focus so it can have a direct impact. But also, I hate it the most because this right here is just some denial. And when we talk about the stages of grief and loss, and they've been losing a whole lot, what's the first stage? Acho, anybody? Denial and isolation. Now, they can't go nowhere. We're going to find you. You got a scar on your helmet. So guess what they're going to do? Deny it. I hated the moments that even I, who played with a lesser of an ego than most, but still had an ego, was starting to go down the hill when I knew that I wasn't balling out of control. And then I would look in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm about to blame somebody. Somebody else step in this mirror with me, because it ain't going to be me. That's what these players sound like right now. Oh, you going to blame Mike McCarthy? You really going to blame Mike McCarthy? Mike McCarthy, the same coach who has a Super Bowl championship. What player on this team going to sit there with their ring and say, I fight back at you? Oh, you going to blame Mike Nolan, defensive coordinator. Oh, really? The same defensive coordinator who had top 10 defenses in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different organizations.
It's been a while.
I don't give a damn how long it's been. He has that equity. What player on this team right now that's playing well has that same equity?
Let me tell you why I vehemently disagree with you in this regard. I vehemently disagree with you because don't come here with your past success, particularly if it's been a decade ago, and then try to throw your past success around to make me act like, oh, I should just sit here and reference you because what you have done in your previous life. Let me tell you my point here. Mike McCarthy, outside of, like I've said, outside of Rodgers and outside of Favre, he has a 35% winning percentage, .354. Only 19 other NFL coaches in history have that bad a winning percentage. One of the other 19, defensive coordinator, Mike Nolan. So if I'm a Cowboys player, I'm sitting here like, wait a second. If you ain't got 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, you're not even average. You're one of the 20 worst coaches of all time. Now, sure, you can say, well, Phil Jackson, he had Jordan, and Brady, he had Belichick. But even when Belichick didn't have Brady, he was still competent in the last 2 decades.
How many Super Bowls he won without Brady?
He was, I'm not asking McCarthy to win a Super Bowl.
I'm asking him to win?
I'm asking McCarthy to not be 1-3. I'm asking McCarthy to not get embarrassed by the Arizona Cardinals. I'm asking Mike Nolan to not give up a historical amount of yards on defense. I'm not even asking them to win a Super Bowl. So I'm not mad at them for calling out these coaches. Don't talk to me about what Mike McCarthy did in 2011 with the Packers in 2010.
Oh, don't talk about that?
What has Mike McCarthy done lately? He got fired in Green Bay, and then he went on sabbatical, and he went and he sought, and he hid himself in a valley, and he studied analytics. Analytics ain't showing up. So if I'm a player, I understand the frustration.
You know what's funny? Everyone who wins a championship says says they want to win it in part because you can't take it away. But then somebody comes up here by the name of Emmanuel Acho with his pastel tie will sit there and try his damnedest to take it away. Oh, interesting. I never won a championship, so I'm not in that conversation. But I'm just letting you know that's what they're going to fight back with. And Phil Jackson, he didn't just have Jordan. He had Kobe.
He had Shaq.
So what's Phil Jackson's record without Jordan and Kobe, like you just did to Mike McCarthy with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre? Oh, same.
Definitely not the same.
Definitely not the same. Actually, it's zero, because he never coached without them boys. He ain't stupid. Here's the thing about it. Mike McCarthy went into Green Bay first year. What was that team before? 4-12. What was the year when he got them?
I hate when you do this.
I need you to understand process. I know we different in age, but I believe in process, even if it takes time. Tortoise and hair, I bet on the tortoise. You bet on the hair.
And I would win. And I would win every time.
Not my cartoons. I never saw the hair win. But here's the thing, dog. 4-12. And then they were 8-8. But people forget, what were they in that 8-8 year? 2-4. Exactly the same place. 8-8 will win this division. Give me some.
Of course.
I'm not done.
Of course.
And then if you respect the process as the tortoise could do, guess what they were the next year? 13-3 NFC Championship game. Respect process.
But can we have a real conversation, Sel? Because you're being an imposter for the sake of the camera.
Oh!
You know what? I should have known. I should have known.
When you lose an argument, you an imposter.
You got your political tie on, so you out here politicizing. I should have known, America. The man came out here in his blue and his red, and I should have known you was gonna try to lie to me like a politician.
Gentlemen, countrymen, lend me an ear.
Lend me your ears. Lend me yours, big bro. Right. It's not just how you lose. You know that. It's not just who you lose to. It is how you lose, excuse me. The Cowboys, if you lose to the Cardinals, I'm not mad. If you lose to Cardinals, I'm not mad, but you can't get embarrassed 38-10 at home. You can't give up 69-yard touchdown runs when the Cardinals are trying to milk the clock. Cowboys, you can't.
That's real.
Like Cowboys, if you beat the Falcons, I'm happy. But you can't beat the Falcons because of a lucky onside kick and the Falcons being terrible. It's not just how you win. It's not just who you beat. It's how you win. It's not just who you lose to. It is how you lose. I'm mad at Mike McCarthy and this coaching staff for how they perform. If you didn't know any better, I would let you slide. But you know far greater even than I to sit here and say that Mike McCarthy is building. They're not building anything right now. This is not looking like something that is being built. This is something that is being torn down.
Oh, look here. Is that their starting quarterback out there?
It's not.
Yo boy, Andy Dalton, red rifle, shooting blanks. Is that okay?
It's not.
So almost I want to give him a mulligan going forward. I tried to tell you this before yesterday's game, but you want to go out there and be with a quarterback that sustains everything instead of enhances everything like Dak Prescott. I have a question for you, Acho. You played a lot of football in your life. Y'all talking to Mr. All-State linebacker right here. Went to UT, hook 'em horns. Boy, you a beast.
Get to the point.
Are they getting out-schemed or are they getting outplayed? Guess what? Being real, and you've been on this show, and I've seen it, watching that video screen, showed me low light after low light. Jalen Smith, what are you doing attacking the wrong guy? Jalen Smith, why are you walking on this play? They're not getting out-schemed as much as they're getting out.
That's hard. That's a hard statement, sir. I would say both.
Can a coach make you stop fumbling? No. You know what a coach can do? He can highlight to you the consequences and importance of holding on to that ball. But Ezekiel Elliott's on his own once he stepped between the white lines. How can I coach that? How can I coach the fact that, hey, Gallup, don't drop the ball?
Let me ask you this. Let's talk ball. Let's talk ball. I love this. Can a coach make a defensive end keep contained? Well, what that is, layman's terms. Can a coach make a defensive end make sure that nobody gets outside of him?
Yes, he can.
I would say yes, he can.
Yeah, he can.
So can a coach help a quarterback stop throwing interceptions? I think so. I think a coach can help a running back stop fumbling by instilling it in the fact of hold on to the ball.
I hear you.
You feel me? Like, it's the same thing.
It's been a conversation, an age-old conversation of how much is it really the teaching and how much is it really on the student. And you think about it. When you look at Ezekiel Elliott, what did they say at halftime? They asked Mike McCarthy, what did you talk about with Ezekiel? He said nothing. He understands the importance of it. To me, that makes sense. Ezekiel Elliott is a top player in our league. If you go up to him and say anything about his performance at that time, it's redundant because his self-criticism is louder than anything you're going to say.
Let me just
how are you going to blame the coach?
Let me just say one last thing.
Okay.
When talking to a lawyer 5 years ago, he said something that has
You caught
stuck
a
with
case?
me to this
You
day.
caught a
I
case?
didn't, thank God.
Oh,
Okay,
my
it was
God.
a small dispute. It was a small dispute, a little small claims court. No Judge Judy, though. He said an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure.
Yeah, that's real.
An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. The Cowboys coaches need to give this team an ounce of prevention. Give Zeke an ounce of prevention. Give Dalton an ounce of prevention. Give the defensive backs an ounce of prevention. Instead of trying to, at halftime, submit to them a pound of cure. Can the Cowboys coaches keep Zeke from fumbling when he steps onto the field? If you give him that ounce of prevention, I believe so.
It's impossible to coach a player who tells reporters and swears he's never going to fumble again before a game and literally fumbles twice.
That's good.
In the first 14 plays. I don't think a coach in the world, including Belichick, can cure that. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're not done in Dallas. They only have 2 wins, but we'll tell you if they'll still win the NFC East. But first, it's Tua time in Miami. We'll tell you if we like the Dolphins' move to start their rookie quarterback next. Speak for yourself, presented by